All right, who do we have here? We are playing Frank from the US. Let's go for the king's pawn opening. Let's see. Okay, my opponent is going for the French defense. Should I go for the advance? No, I'm going to play the classical variation. Let's go here. I'm interested in just finishing my development and castling my king to safety. My opponent is playing a lot of pawn moves that they might end up regretting, but maybe not yet. You can see I already have how many pieces? I already have 4 active pieces, and that's because they were making some unnecessary pawn moves like this. Okay, maybe this idea behind this move is, bro, you're not pinning me. Maybe that's what my opponent is simply saying. Let's do this. Maybe my opponent is going to play this move. This pin is quite annoying, but can I get away with playing this move? Or maybe I should just play a move like this, ask my opponent to capture, and after the trade, try to move my king and use this, okay. I'm very interested in doing that. Let's do that. If my opponent wants to capture here, I'm simply saying, bro, be my guest. This is going to weaken my king's side, but because my opponent wasted some move for pushing pawns, I think my lead in development might be very dangerous here. Because after this trade, I think I should be able to play a move like this, and then this move. The idea here is simply to sacrifice here. That's what I'm interested in doing. My opponent is eyeing this pawn. We cannot allow them to capture the pawn, so we are going to play a move like this, which is just helping me. All right, opponent strikes with that move. I hate that move. I hate that move. I would love to capture here. Capturing here looks like the best move to play. Capturing here, I think it allows my opponent to land a check here, so I do not want them doing that. But what am I left with? I'm left with a lot of choices, sadly. I'm looking at sacrificing here. Let's say I capture here now, which is a move that is on my radar right now. I'm looking at just capturing here. If my opponent push pawn forward here, looks like we have this. Then my opponent has this move and they're winning my queen. What can we play here? We could also play a move like this, just trying to keep everything defended. Playing a move like this loses material. What if I just go back here, ask my opponent to capture, then I just capture this way? Not a move I really like, but looks like a valuable option. Capturing here looks interesting, but after this move, how am I responding? Okay, if I capture here, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing for me. If I land a check here, my opponent is just going to capture here, and while I still wish to play this move, I can't play it because my bishop is pinned. Let's go back this way. That's me burning 3 minutes to just play this simple move. 3 minutes to just play that simple move, not acceptable. I thought I would be attacking my opponent straight out of the opening, but looks like that's not happening. That move looks interesting. I'm tempted to play a move like this. Let me bring my rook into the game. Let's bring the rook into the action. This knight on the rim is a very bad knight, but not too bad. The knight could just go back here, but knight is keeping the knight for this purpose. I'm looking at pushing pawn forward. Okay, now I can just capture here, and I think I should be okay. I should be okay here. I'm looking at trying to activate my king. I'm looking at a way to activate my queen. Maybe land the queen on some of this on this square. Try to set up something, but I'm not seeing a good way to do that. And I really do not want to trade queens here for some reason. Okay, let's go here. This should be a good move. Just hitting this. Then dear evil piece, please decide. What are you up to? And now I'm looking at just doubling up here, going for some nastiness here on the 7th rank. And now my queen could also join the game this way. Okay, now it's looking interesting. It is looking interesting. So let's bring the queen into the game this way. Let's bring the queen this way. I wanted an active queen. Looks like we are getting it now. Let's say I play a move like this, which I'm interested in playing. You see what my opponent is going to play? Opponent is just going to strike me with this move. And now they have a knight that is defended. And looks like I really do not have a lot here going on for me. But I feel like sacking that rook. I feel like sacrificing the rook. If my opponent captures here, I'm going to capture here. Ask their knight to move away. And once the knight moves away, I'm looking at this move already. I am very interested in that move already. So let's see how my opponent responds to this. Opponent has to be careful. Okay, I wanted to see playing a move like lose a queen. Yes, it loses a queen. Playing a move like this loses a queen because I'm just going to capture here with check. Just going to capture here with check. Playing a move like this, I'm not buying it as well because I'm going to capture here. And when my opponent captures here, I'm going to capture here with check before I capture here. And I will end up winning material. I'm running low on time. I need to pick up the pace. Okay, my opponent just lost their queen now. Opponent just loses their queen and opponent smashed the resign button. Alright, I'm playing with the white pieces. Let's go with the king's pawn opening. Let's see which defense my opponent is going to come up with. Are we going to see the Scandinavian, French, or Sicilian? Okay, my opponent is going e5. So let's bring the knight out. Looks like we might get this Scotch on the board. If my opponent plays a move like this or plays a move like this, which is going to the Petrov if they play this move. Okay, we have this Scotch on the board, and I love to play the Scotch Gambit. So let's see what my opponent knows about the Scotch Gambit. Capturing here is the way to go. If my opponent captures here, okay, is that the way I capture? Maybe I could capture here, but I think I'm just going to capture here. And I have a queen that is centralized, and it's not like they have a knight that could just come out again and just hit my queen. So let's go here next. This is how you play the Scotch Gambit. So let's see how my opponent responds. This is a move. This is a move. My opponent plays that move. Now I'm going to strike here. If my opponent captures here, I have this move. I have this move just threatening checkmate, and opponent cannot really do much to stop this. They could play a move like this, but then I capture here. But it's quite tricky. I think I might have to give up the bishop back. I might have to give up the bishop back because our position is usually crazy. My opponent is going to play a move like this, trying to defend this way. And I'm just going to capture here. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Opponent just had to castle. Opponent just had to castle in this position, but because they did not castle, I think I'm just going to capture here next. Capture here. Now that I did not save my piece, am I in trouble? Opponent is hitting my queen while threatening a fork here. This is a weird line. I expected my opponent to castle, but this is a weird line. Now I can't go back here. If I go back there, I get forked. So I can't go back there. So let's say I go here now. My opponent lands this check. I'm just going to move up, or just move closer to the knight, and I'm still threatening this, still threatening all kinds of stuff here. So let's move here. Let's see how my opponent responds. If my opponent captures here, can I ignore and play this move? Yes, I can. I think I can ignore and play this move. Checkmate is coming here. Checkmate is coming there. What if my opponent plays this move? A very interesting move. Then I will have no checkmate. If I capture here, opponent is going to push pawn forward, and I'll be left with no checkmate. So capturing there, while it looks very tempting, looks like a move I cannot play because my opponent will have a queen and I get a rook, so it's quite tricky. I'd love to play a move like this, but I think I should be okay with this move as well. Let's go with this move. So what's the material count? Material seems to be equal. Material count, material is equal. Position is crazy. My opponent has a king that is struggling to leave the center of the board. This is not time to start grabbing free pawns. Very serious chess. Maybe at some point I just start grabbing pawns. I love to land this check. My opponent could block this way, they could block this way. So not a check I'm really too interested in. Let's say I go here. Opponent is likely going to capture here. Let's bring pieces into the attack. I wish my bishop is still on the attack, but we are going to see a trade. Let's bring this rook here. This looks like an annoying check. Okay, not annoying enough. I love this check. Does absolutely nothing. Let's go here. I feel like going here, just trying to be fancy, but being fancy here might not be enough. Being fancy here might not be enough. Okay, let's say I capture here. Opponent is likely going to capture here, and then I capture here. They are going to move their bishop. Maybe they move the bishop here. Could sack here. Oh, no, I can't. I have my bishop sitting. I have a pawn sitting here, so I can't sack there. All right, so what do we just do here? I really don't want to move that, but my opponent is forcing me. Opponent is forcing me. Opponent is saying, bro, you have to move that. And the more pieces that are leaving the board, the happier my opponent is, because how am I attacking when I do not have pieces on the board? How am I attacking when I do not have pieces to attack? That's the question my opponent is throwing to me. But my opponent's king is still on the center of the board. Very good. Which is something I like. Opponent is simply threatening this and winning a pawn. Winning a pawn, I do not want my opponent to do. I do not want to give up a pawn. So let's defend this way. But my opponent can castle now here. Wow, that's interesting. My opponent was able to play some amazing move. I'm going to look at this. I don't know if that... if what my opponent played was good, I am not sure. Let's go here. Hit the queen. I'm looking at capturing here next. The knights are usually good defender of the king. So having two knights around my king, not something my opponent is particularly happy about. Let's say I capture here now. My opponent is going to capture here with check. I'm just going to come back, which is what I'm going to do. Let's go here. Do I just go back here? No, let's just go back here. Let's go back here. We are gaining a tempo on the king and queen. That cannot be bad. Simply gaining a tempo on the queen. That cannot be bad. You see what my opponent is looking at doing? Opponent is simply looking at opening this discovered attack on me. Be my guess. Be my guess. I'm saying it's just a check. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's just a check. Let's say we go back here. My opponent has a check here. I'm watching out for my opponent's check. So let's say we go forward. My opponent doesn't have any other check. So let's go forward. Oh, opponent has this check. But opponent missed that. Opponent is giving me a queen. Our opponent is giving me a queen. Who am I to say no? Let's grab a queen. I think this is a useful check. Let's go for this check first. So that when I come here, opponent doesn't have a rook that can just be a menace here. Opponent wants to make sure they can put a rook here when I try to stop this pawn. I want to make sure my opponent can't do that. I want to make sure my opponent can't